Hello YouTube, the worst character in Final Fantasy VII is getting an LD, and I'm here to talk about it along with the mission dungeon, the stupid fight that is appropriately notorious for being dumb, and some other things, some of my thoughts, etc. This is my pull plan series where I go over units that are upcoming in GL based on my experience, having played both the JP and Global consistently for a while. My goal is to help everyone make informed decisions on their own and not directly give answers. There's too many variables in this game, and I believe the best help you can give someone is showing them how to help themselves. So I go over my plans and go over my thoughts so you can kind of explain and understand the process and go through it with me. I don't think I can give you real answers, just a perspective on things. So on that note, be sure to leave a comment about your plans for the event, and go ahead and like the video, subscribe to my channel as well. I do play both JP and Global. Excited for the new era. I'm gonna try and release this video on Saturday. I need to work through the Shinryu on JP. Funny thing that it's at this point recording, it's already been beaten without BT in the party. So all the Doom, the Reddit and Discord Doom, has aged like milk within not even 24 hours of the fight being out. So keep freaking out, guys. Keep making yourselves look stupid. I'm taking screenshots. Anyways, yeah, I'm probably not gonna get to that fight maybe until like Monday US time. So just be aware of that. But back to Cait Sith. He's going to be getting a rework in LD and High Armor Plus, and he's rerunning alongside Gabronth, assuming the banners don't change. For his rework, his skill 1 is still hot garbage, however skill 2 is a lot better. It is instant turn rate, doesn't take up a turn, and it heals the party. The LD is where the good stuff starts. It's a double HP attack that does a battery and then 2 HP attacks, like I said, and it breaks all target. It does pierce evasion, which is relevant in the fight coming up. But additionally, it gives Cait an overhead that scales with the amount of buffs in the party, peaking at 16 to 18. And I'm going to be talking about the buffs, assuming that the condition of 16 to 18 of the party is met. But party always hits crits. 30% gain in stolen overflow ups, HP damage up by 30%, which is actually pretty fat. And lastly, it gives the special effect that is hard to describe, but every time that a party member does a critical hit, they gain a percentage of their Embrave, and at max stacks it'll be 18%. This scales really well with a lot of units who have a bunch of Brave hits. It will just feel weird because it'll be a bunch of green numbers on the screen you can't quite understand. And since it is a green number, it is also affected by Brave Gain Reduction and Brave Gain Up buffs. You get this same effect on his LD call. He has Encouragement Armor and a C slot, so we can take advantage of the Paladin Cecil stuff. And his High Armor Plus leans in the HP cap direction, which is actually pretty good for the party HP cap up, because he has 30% HP damage up, so you're probably actually more likely to hit those caps. So I could see this being a valuable blue. He has a known rerun at his C90 with Realms LD, and this is during the Vincent BT cycle. Now for my breakdown. In terms of strengths, Cait Sith is going to boost your damage in unconventional ways. It's not going to feel good, but you're definitely making an impact with that Brave Gain on every hit and the 30% HP damage up, which is pretty significant on a single unit. You'll notice it. It's just on your on your regular hits, it won't be that much because he's got only like 50% attack boost, I think. And I can see where the Setzer comparison is because it's boosting your output in an unconventional way, but that's kind of where the similarities end, because while Setzer is either all or nothing, Cait is kind of in the middle, and it doesn't feel quite great, but he is a damage amp. And unlike Setzer, he has it's an aura, so you can just sit there and exist, and he can even do it as a call potentially with the right setup, although caution about his call, I put that firmly in the Aroha tier. I don't know if I said that already, but where it's potentially useful in the right setup. Personally in JP, I had Cait's LD, and when I did use his LD call, it was okay for that purpose, but I mainly ended up bringing it to hit buff conditions like Ramza's BT plus, for example. Also, that buff start he gives party HP regen on the frame buff, so that's decent as well. Burst heal on the skill 2 is a nice addition, and because he has encouragement armor, I forgot to mention earlier, he gets a new Brave plus as well that dumps HP, but also dumps Brave, I should say, but batteries the party, so that's decent as well. So his output isn't going to be terrible. You probably want to avoid skill 1, to be honest. As for weaknesses, his kit really just is ass outside of the LD buff. I mean, he's gonna be stat sticking. That's what you're putting him there for. And if you need to be doing actual Brave damage, Cait isn't going to help that at all. But if you've satisfied that requirement or are going past it, so you need to be doing enough Brave hits to make the effect worth it, and have enough HP attacks to make the HP cap up worth it, and then making sure your battery is worth it as well. I mean, he doesn't need Brave Gain up to function. It's just awkward, honestly. Double support is probably the best option to go to. Either it's buffing his Brave gains, everyone's Brave gains for that matter, or buffing the attack in the party so he can do actual Brave damage outside of Cait's lackluster, and he doesn't even give Brave damage up auras. So yeah, he's firmly in that third spot, but when he does work very well. He just there's the setup cost, the opportunity cost of bringing him in the party that I talk about. And the call really, while it sounds really good on paper, I don't think it's that good in practice. And if you've been playing for a long time, you got Jack Kurosame. Fighting for that third slot is usually something a little bit more useful than a 2-turn effect, so I don't even know if I'd pull for that in the first place, to be honest. So potential teammates, people who come on his synergy work, Vayne, for example, who's got quite a few brave hits and doesn't cap his HP necessarily, so he can help round him out there. Shulk, who's going to be on the next banner as well. Vaughn, any of the FF7 people, probably because they have a ton of brave and HP hits and mixed all of them in between, so anybody in that realm. So Cait's pretty flexible in that regard, honestly. As for useful fights, nothing kind of comes to mind just because his kit is so generic. But he can fit anywhere, so it is what it is on that front. A generic support slot, buffing party's damage, I should say. Just again, be careful if you're on the fence. Be careful about the Setzer comparisons because he's not going to amp your damage in the way that Setzer can potentially. It's way more nuanced than that, and I'd hate for people to pull for Cait or just get the call thinking, oh right, I have a second Setzer now, and that's really not the case at all. The event is truthfully very obnoxious. The orb does not cater to Cait Sith at all, besides the break condition, which he can trigger via his LD when the ghost it's the Ico ghost. If you aren't aware, I should probably state the entire thing. It's the Ico ghost. If you aren't familiar with that boss, the main one goes into hiding, and then the other two it buffs them over time. What you want to do is kill the ads before you can get attacks off on the main guy, and after he gets another turn, it will summon them back, and then it'll repeat that loop. The orbs are +1 on break, and this is for the main target. +1 on break, and if you take a sap or a poison or it's brave damage from effect, that's the correct phrase, it's +8. So they need to get a turn in order to get sapped. But then if the main boss gets a turn and it's sapped, then it'll summon the ads back in, so it'll put you in a really awkward position. And if you do break Vayne is fine for this fight. If you can stall the orb out with a bunch of breaks, or if you do it within his BT phase, for example. But the issue is that at certain HP percentage, I don't remember the exact ones, but it'll warp, and then regardless, it'll just summon the ads back. And the reason Agarius is popular for this fight is because if you stun it, and it goes to go for a warp, it'll be unable to summon the ads back, and it'll just take it. If you have a sap debuff up, it'll sap itself, and this sap condition can be achieved via a sap on a E-sphere, for example, so refined. So it becomes sort of a kind of DPS race, and Cait doesn't help. The only way Cait technically helps is hitting the evaded ghost with his LD and breaking it. That's a way he could help. Additionally, he'll just increase your overall damage, so that's a way to help. But it's weird that there's a sap war for Cait Sith, and Gabronth really ends up, at least as a call, being more helpful than Cait Sith is potentially. Thankfully, there's a lot of paralyzers. You can DPS race this one down. It becomes unlaunchable at some point. I don't know the exact condition, but you can range them out of this. But once it's stunned, and you can do this via Ramu summon, Toto call, Edward call, but it needs to be like a stun, so it's unable to take a turn. And then you can go nuts on it. Zac is not good for this fight because it will target itself when it goes into that I'm going to summon the ads back moment. And when Zac's not being targeted, his damage tanks. So sorry, buddy. So DPS the ads down. You can, if you bring out a call as well, it actually debuff start overrides the evasion of the main boss. So you can actually put the call up like Ferris and Gabronth are great calls to have here. And then once it's out there, go nuts, force it down to the HP thresholds, paralyze it in advance. Ramu, I think I mentioned Ramu summon. And then single target damages like Tifa, Vaughn are excellent here. Reigns obviously because he's broken, and we just got Tifa on a previous banner, which should help for this fight as well. Although we did get her sacrificed on the Reigns event, but it is what it is there. Just do everything, go nuts, pedal to the metal, kill it very fast. Probably one of the more unfortunate fights. I probably rank this as one of the worst fights in the game's history, to be honest. But it's manageable. It just kind of doesn't feel good, to be honest. My plans for the event, I am going to skip Cait Sith. I was kind of going back and forth on it, but as I just now talked about his kit really is some mid, honestly. And I pulled him in JP. I don't think I ever used him outside of Transcendence 7, which was Cake, and there was really no reason for me to bring him there at all, except that I just wanted to throw him there. I used his call occasionally, but it really was never a first pick, and I don't think he's that great. However, I want to add some important nuance here. If you are a new player who doesn't have any HP damage up calls, Gabronth is your first foray into that, and Cait can be a potential decent support for amping your damage. 30% HP damage up is a lot. So if you're newer to the game, I think this is a good banner to probably tick it, but otherwise, unless you're a hyper Cait Sith fan, and Cait Sith fans are going on the list too, because Cait was not good written well in the original FF7. So yeah. But yeah, I'm skipping this banner. I don't think I'd ever use him. I have my buffers, and if I did use him, I'd want to blue him. He's not blue is not necessary for him, but the base armor, the Cait Sith, it just not for me. In JP, I did pull, and then like I said, I didn't use them. But my team for the event, after a little bit of frustration, was Agrius, Tifa, and Yuna. I put Yuna's BT up, and I had a blue Agrius, and I think that was a triple blue team, and I kind of just went nuts on the boss. It didn't feel great, but I was able to punch through it, timing my stuns and just DPSing it down with Tifa. In GL, I'm thinking I might do Barret, Tifa, Agrius, no BT run maybe, or maybe I'd throw Ace in there. I'm not really sure. I might actually Ishtola, Porum, and Tifa to just brave game the crap out of it and blow them down. Yeah, that actually sounds a lot more fun. So I think I'll do that instead, and some calls to help take the condition. Anyways, that's all I had to say. This video, I think I rambled a little, way too much in this video. And like I mentioned, I'll do the Shin review later once I understand what's going on with this fight, but expect that Monday. Oh, I gotta do a shelf video too, don't I? Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Be sure to leave a comment with your plans, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you later. Peace. Bye.